Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Thursday Morning Express Meditation. Hope everyone is well. Um, you know, I woke up this morning, my body it was kind of sore, so I think I'm probably not the only one. Sometimes it happens where you wake up a bit refreshed, but the body's still achy from various reasons. So I think we could all relate to that. Um, so. Maybe we just kind of start with checking in with our body, this vehicle that we're possessing at the moment, and try to settle the energy of the body a little bit so that it doesn't become a distraction because it's we have a lot of attachment to the body, so it tends to distract us, um, especially when it comes to our practice and our mental development. So. So we bring our attention and our focus into this session, settling our mind, settling our body. And the first thing we'll do is just observe the mass, the weight of this body sitting on the chair, cushion, sofa. And then we can also recognize any aches or pains, maybe in the ankle or the knee, in our hips. Maybe we're holding some tension in our back, in the lower back, the upper back, maybe in our shoulders or our neck. Or maybe we have a subtle headache. So no matter where we have any tension or pain, we could just put the mind on that spot for a moment and just observe it. And the observation is is objective. So we see the pain or the tension. It's a sensation. So we just observe the sensation. And so this sensation, sometimes it becomes more intense, more focused, and sometimes it becomes less intense or even dissipates. So we can see how the nature of the sensation is always changing. It's always moving. And by noticing that it's a sensation, we know it's not positive, it's not negative, it's just neutral. It's just a sensation. It's only when our mind gets involved and we start labeling, then we give it the power by labeling it pain or discomfort. So our mind has the power to discriminate. So by subduing our minds, we can free the mind of any suffering. So that's the work of meditation is to work with our minds, to discover the mind, to to make the mind pliable. So we can take that as our motivation to make our minds pliable. And we can build on that, that through this pliable mind, we can be a benefit to others, to our friends, our families, to the strangers walking down the street. And with this motivation, we can contemplate these 10 non-virtues and how they work together with karma. And last time we ended with I believe it was the the non-virtue of divisive speech. So we looked at the object, the intention, the action, the result. So the next non-virtue is harsh speech. So with harsh speech, any living being can be hurt by whatever you say. But it generally refers to humans because we can imagine if we angrily are abusing an animal with our words, it's not really the case of harsh speech because the animal doesn't have the ability to really understand, to fully understand all uh, the subtlety of your insults. So what about the intention of this harsh speech? So we have the discriminating component. So we correctly identify the object to be insulted. And maybe we can think about a friend of ours, maybe even a close friend. It's quite amazing sometimes how we can be so abusive to people close to us. So the the discrimination. So we have our close friend, and we're aiming our insult at this person. But it could be that we miss our mark. And the insult goes to another person by mistake. And in that case, the, the action is not complete because we missed our target. And then what would be our motive in this case, the with the harsh speech? So the motive would be to fully intend to speak uh, harsh or abusive words. And what are the underlying drivers for having this intention to speak harshly against a friend? Or we would say, what are the delusions? What's the kind of underlying impetus? And I think um, they come up a lot. I think it's the things like attachment, anger, ignorance. So with attachment, maybe you're insulting the spouse uh, of your friend. Um, sorry, you're insulting your friend because you have attachment to their spouse. So that could be an example of attachment um, delusion. Or it could be anger, right? Perhaps you got uh, angry because of someone else, and then you channel that anger in the form of harsh speech towards your friend. And then there's ignorance, which is a bit of the universal uh, delusion. And that's just, failing to realize the hurtful effect of your words. Um, and it's speaking speaking out in an uncontrollable or um, unthoughtful way. And this is driven a lot by habit. So I think this driver, this impetus of ignorance is uh, it's pretty sneaky and a dangerous one because we do it almost mindlessly. 'Cause it's a little easier to see the attachment, to see the anger and catch it before we act on it. But the ignorance, it's a sneaky one, working through our uh, habitual ignorance. And this is where our mindfulness throughout the day, with our actions, our speech, our thoughts, becomes very important because it's only then that we can really check our actions, check our habits, check our ignorance. Okay, so we have our object, our friend. We have our motive, uh, our intention, all mixed up with our delusions. And then we have the act, where we speak rudely, harshly, critically, abusively. And we do it um, with a negative intention. And then the act becomes complete when the other person hears it and understands and is hurt by your words. So it's only then that it becomes complete. So if they're in the other room and they don't really hear you, they don't have this sense of hurt, doesn't count, or it's not complete. It's not fully complete. Or if you're standing in a forest and you make these insulting remarks and the friend doesn't hear them, then yeah, also not complete. So it's important to be mindful, to be aware of our speech, our attentions, anything that's going around or going on uh, in our life and our mind at the moment that'll be negatively influence anything that we might say or share. So then we need to be extra careful and have scrutiny. Or maybe we just choose silence so we don't hurt anyone. We can dedicate all of the merits that we created during this meditation, contemplating observation of our speech, our harsh speech in particular, so that we don't hurt others around us, in particular those that are close to us. And so we don't hurt or create more negative karma that would fruition in the future in the form of pain or suffering. Thank you, everyone.